All right, your content might suck. It just might suck, and it might be okay. But at the end of the day, whether it sucks or it's okay, you want it to move the needle to not only build relationships, but generate leads and sales. So in this video, I'm going to test out in front of you Traffic Maestro, which is a system I've been using that's helping me with my business, not only to put this type of content out there, but to save time. Okay, so I'm just going to minimize my head really quick, and you're already inside the Traffic Maestro. Keep in mind, I want you to understand what's baked inside of this system. So a lot of people, they're using AI and it might give them some content, but it's not as good as this. ChatGPT don't write as well. Even I know Claude doesn't write as well out of the box either. You can train those tools a lot, but that's the whole point of learning. And, at that point you could do it yourself, or I just feel like it, I know how to write decent content myself, but it saves me time. But out of the box, you're not going to get great content from those platforms. I know this because I literally gave Claude instructions just to help me save time one day, and it was a mess. So I ended up doing it myself, and it's all good. Tools can help you. And I'm not saying that this tool is perfect either. I like to read any content that I generate with AI and make sure it resonates with me. And I also want you to understand that just because this is doing for you what you could be doing for yourself, if you learned this stuff, it doesn't mean that you should not learn it. Take the time to learn some of this stuff. And I really like the way they have this set up. When you go through the onboarding, you'll see where it allows you to get little pieces of education along the way. And we have a entire platform for education as well, if you want to spend some time learning. Okay, so what I'm going to do is create a Facebook post, Traffic Maestro. Obviously, you can learn something each day, and you want to check that off in your checklist. You have some things that can grow your income on Facebook. You want to check those off each day. And then ultimately, you can create some content for your socials. So I want to create a Facebook post, and I want something really short today. I don't know if I'm going to use this. I'm just going to be honest with you. Sometimes I go off of my feelings, and sometimes I'm like, let's use this AI post. I kind of have an idea of what I want to post. A lot of times I just go out there and just create my own post, but I'm going to try to see what it comes up with. All right. So one thing I like to tell people is read this from top to bottom. I know for me, I consider myself pretty decent in the space. I consider myself pretty decent with going through stuff, but I still mess up with this by not reading what's on the page. So you don't want to treat this as it'll do everything for me, I don't have to think type thing. You want to have a nice little mix of your input and its expertise. So starting from the top of the Traffic Maestro, so give value and grow your audience, future income, grow your audience and generate leads. The post, Alchemist. I wrote over 8,000 posts and sold 10 million in products. You can steal my style in 5 seconds. All right, that's what you're getting baked inside of the system. And the shortest way I could tell you possible is principles and stuff like that I love. As you're going through the system, it does give you little tips on how to do this stuff on your own if you wanted to. And it's not even just about doing it on your own. Like, for instance, when I got Claude to create something for me, Claude wasn't doing such a great job. But if I did not already know what I wanted and what worked and moved the needle, I wouldn't have been able to identify that. So you can still use AI once you learn this stuff. Before you post this, is it true? Is it you? Very simple explanation, right? I mean, you want to make sure what you're posting is true. You want to make sure it's your vibe. So you have your post, Alchemize your post. Was this an old post I have in there? It probably has an old post that I already used. Did I use this? I don't know. I think I'm going to copy this and save, guys. Just because I'm not sure if I use this or not. I don't know. Did this come with the system? It's weird. I'm going to discard and start over. And this is where you'll start. So you'll start with a series of questions. I kind of already know like what I want to post, but you can read it if you don't have any ideas, geared up. So I already know what you want to say. Skip the question and just start typing. What are you most excited about in life? Did something happen recently? Is there anything you learned recently that you can teach someone? What's a myth, misconception in your industry that drives you crazy? This is probably really good for engagement. What's a family moment or personal experience that taught you something about business? So you have those questions you can start off with. I already kind of know what I'm going to say. I want to talk about how it is halfway through 2026. And if you're not halfway to your yearly goal, it's time to triple down and get results. I would like to create a short post that can resonate with somebody who's at their desk with a coffee in hand. I don't usually add that type of stuff. I don't know if it's going to use it for the content. We'll see. Just as long as I said that is probably as long as I want the post really. So I don't know if it's going to generate what I want. A couple of more details. What the one thing your reader should take away? It's not too late to achieve the desires you want for 2026, but if you wait any longer, it could eventually be too late when 2027 arrives, period. All right. Any specific numbers, results, or details? Not really. So write my post. Let's see what this comes up with. And let's see here. I think I want to get something else set up while that's writing. I don't know how long it's going to take. It doesn't take that long, but I like to just boom, boom, boom. It's already done. All right, cool. So, it's certain things I do not like my content starting off with. Something like good morning. That's just me. I'm going to test the Alchemize for direct response as well. And this is really long, but I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to read it actually because I don't think you'll be able to hear it. I don't know how to share my sound with this recorder that I'm using. So what I'm going to do is read it out loud. So it says, good morning. If you're reading this with a coffee in hand, so it added that. And I don't really want it to add it. I just wanted to resonate with the person. Halfway through 2026, can I ask you something? And you could add it. It's good to add that for the person, that probably has a cup of coffee in their hand or knows what it feels like to have that cup of coffee in your hand and then have something just smack you across the face and, in the internet world and give you the reality that 2026 is halfway through. How's that goal you set back in January? The one you wrote down with all that fresh start energy, the one that felt so possible on January 1st. Here's the thing. We're at the halfway mark right now this week. And if you're not roughly halfway to where you said you be by December, that's not a sign to quit. That's a signal to get serious, not try hard or serious. Sit down and take a look at what's actually working serious. I would change that up a little bit. Okay, so most people will coast through the next 6 months telling themselves there's still time. And technically there is. 6 months is a lot of time. I do like this post, y'all. So it might trump my idea this morning. I will tell you this. I do like this post. I ain't mad at this post at all. But here's what I've noticed after years of watching people build businesses from home. The ones who finish strong in December are the ones who made a decision in June. This shit is good. This shit is good, y'all. Excuse my language. Not a wish, not a wish, a decision. They tripled down on the activities that moved the needle. They stopped dabbling and started committing. They got uncomfortable on purpose. 6 months from now, you'll either be glad you locked in today or you'll be writing another list of goals for 2027, wondering why this keeps happening. You still have the same 24 hours, the same opportunity, the same potential you had in January. The only question is what you do with the half that's left. The only question is what you do with the half that's left. So finish that coffee, then go to work on hitting on the thing that matters. You've got this. I love this. And it's not salesy, which I didn't want a salesy post today. So I love it. I really love it. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to save it because I don't know once I hit this Alchemize if I'm going to use it or not. So I just want to show it. So where my notepad at? Where my notepad at? Oh, I got a new document. All right, cool. So, all right. So now I have it inside of my notepad so I can have it saved. And I'm just going to hit Alchemize for direct response. And probably read it again just to see the difference. I like it how it is. I'm not really looking for direct response. And direct response could be something simple as comment below to let me know what your goal is for 2026 or whatever, So let's see what it says. It says, good morning again. Halfway through 2026, coffee in hand. Let me ask you something real quick. That goal you set back in January, how's it going? You know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. Stay with me here. We're at the halfway mark this week right now. If you're honest with yourself, okay, get serious. Don't try harder. Okay. Open a calendar. It looks like it's a little bit different here. Sit down, open a calendar and look at what you actually did last week. What? Okay. I get it. What it's saying. Not to try harder serious, but to look down and see what you did serious. Okay. Here's what I've noticed after 18 years of watching people build businesses from home. The ones who hit, okay. I'm kind of skipping over the stuff I know we read. Not a wish. Yeah, I probably should. Moment of decision. They looked at 2 or 3 activities that were actually producing results and they tripled down those. Okay. They stopped dabbling. And 6 things. They got uncomfortable on purpose. The other group, they coast through summer and telling themselves it's still time. 6 months from now, you'll be glad you locked in. Okay. Same 24 hours. The only question is, so finish that coffee to get to work. Okay. Here's probably the response part. So if you already know what that one thing is, drop a fire in the comments. And if you're not sure, tell me what you're working on. Sometimes a second set of eyes is all it takes. You got this. I like this. It's cool. I'm going to go with the first one now. I do like this one as well. So I'll go with the first one, and I think everything is true in that one. This one I definitely will have to edit a couple of things, but I mean, I'll edit a couple of things in this one as well. But what I like to do, especially with longer texts, shorter texts, I'll mess around and post those without pictures, but this is probably slightly on that longer area. What I like to do is just go ahead and create a picture with it. Okay, so I'm going to click on this so you can see really quick the education you can get as you're using this stuff. So when you go to check off, have you learned something new? This is what I recommend you do. Whenever you have the ability to grasp the principles behind all of this stuff that you're creating, click on it, read it for a few minutes, and you can check off that block. Okay, so it says read the Post Alchemist guide. All right, and all right, so once you go through here, or once you get to this page, you can just start reading a little bit at a time. Like I wouldn't say sit and consume everything, right? I would say sit and pretty much read it. I like to have notes for the stuff that I'm studying. So you can bring up your notes inside of your Let's Go app if you have that, or whatever note app you have. And then ultimately just read a little bit. And then that'll be your education for that day. And what you'll find is as you do this more and more, as you start reading more of these posts and emails, you start to gravitate in a way on a subconscious level. A lot of the writing I'm really good at. I can't sit and explain the principles about a lot of this stuff. I just can't. How I started learning how to write was just writing. Okay. I read emails of great writers, and, you know, some of the principles, the way of talking, the way of writing just stuck with me. And that's the really cool thing about this stuff. Like once you get into doing it over and over again, look at all this education you get to dive into. All right. So I actually closed the window by accident. And the really cool thing is it keeps where you're at on this. So the next thing I want to do is create a image. Okay. I'll go to our image Van Gogh. Okay. Image creator. And I will start off by, this is what I like to do to help me move faster. We have a prompt write assistant tool, which I recommend you using because one, you get 5 credits with the system per day. You don't want to waste them. 2, it helps you create a better image, right? So let's just say I want to create an image that goes along with the post. I want me in the image. I usually have my pictures. You want to have about 5 of your pictures in there. I don't think you really need this. I don't want it to describe me, but it's been describing me lately. I just wanted my images in there because it asked me for my image. The important spot is in the next section after this, but ultimately what I wanted to do is create an image, a prompt for an image that resonates with the following posts. You can add in what you want to add in if you want. Okay. Create an image that goes along with the following Facebook post, period. I would like a fuzzy feeling of a person and of me in my home office with my cup of coffee with a slight smile directed towards the viewer with kind of a yellow tint to give a warm fuzzy feeling. I don't know. I can see it in my head more than I can say it, guys. And so I'll say Facebook posts so it knows that the Facebook post is starting, and I'll put it there. And then it'll start creating a prompt. Now, once it comes up with the prompt, it might ask you questions beforehand. So you answer the questions if it does. Once it comes up with the prompt, then you want to listen to that prompt. I have a kind of a template on how I want me to be inside of my images. So I make sure before I create the image, I add that as well. I'm going to listen to it just to speed it up. And if I have to change anything, I'll let you guys know. And I'm going to apply this too and start working. So you might see me working a little bit.
A photorealistic portrait of the same person from the reference photos. Preserve their exact facial features, face shape, skin tone, and build precisely. They are wearing a comfortable gray t-shirt and a black snapback cap worn backwards. They are seated at a clean, modern home office desk, holding a steaming cup of coffee in one hand close to their chest, with a gentle, warm, slight smile directed straight at the viewer.
Black t-shirt.
Personal one-on-one conversation. The home office behind them is softly shallow depth of field, featuring a laptop, a small plan, maybe a motivational book or notebook on the desk, and a window letting in warm golden morning sunlight. The entire image is bathed in a warm golden yellow tint, like early morning sunshine flooding a cozy room, giving the whole scene a fuzzy, inviting, comforting feel. Soft light.
I heard my software kind of kicked in, so I had to hopefully edit some of that out. All right, so basically it sounded great to me, and I changed it from a gray t-shirt to a black t-shirt. I usually have that set inside of my template that I give to the system. I usually have a black t-shirt in there, but I told it to have a black t-shirt up there as well since it added a gray t-shirt. I don't want to confuse it. So let's go to, let me go here, I think. So I copy this and that way I can add it to my image to make it come out. So if you see AI is constantly doing something to your face or doing something to you that you don't want it to do, you create like a little template to add with your prompts and that'll help, right? And so I think after this, I should be good to generate. Okay. So ultimately, I'm going to make sure that the size, you want to make sure your face is in there. I always tell people take pictures of your face. I'm going to probably do this process over again one day and I'll take profile pictures and stuff like that. Because you'll notice if you have a profile picture, it might not come out looking like you because all they have is your picture facing forward. So you want to kind of give them options to look at. And it's like photorealistic. You want to change it to what you want to. Keeping it square for Facebook. But you can come here and look and see what you want. You know, it has little notes under the type of banners and pictures you want to create. And then you just hit edit images. And I think I'm going to wait for that to come. I'm trying to bring up Facebook. All right, so I'm in Facebook. And what I want to do here next is get ready to draft up that post, okay? I'm already going to skip the words good morning. I don't like that. It's boring. I like to start my stuff off with some type of hook. You can consider this a hook right here. If you're reading this with a coffee in hand halfway through 2026, can I ask you something? I think I'm going to change this up a little bit. I'll keep it. I'll keep it. I'll keep it. I just took off the good morning. I always like a little emoji to help grab attention. Let's just do a target that kind of matches what we're talking about, our target goals. How's that goal you set back in January? Okay. So I'll say, and what did I just do? The sit down and look at what's actually working serious. That's the part I was going to change. So it's the same thing. I just don't like how they put the dashes. So the sit down at what's actually working serious. Okay. Can't remember if it was anything else I didn't like. I think most of it I did, if not all. Okay. All right, cool. So that's the post. I'm not going to change much, but I am going to use my tool really quick. I like using this tool to help with the spacing on Facebook. Sometimes it doesn't keep good spacing, so I like to use this tool. And then when I put it back on here, all it does is help maintain that space between my sentences, my line breaks and stuff like that. So that's all I'm doing there. And it has a picture generated for me over here. It looks like AI, but I don't care. It still gives the feelings. And how I know that is because I get the feelings from AI people. Not AI people, but people who uses AI in their content. That's that. My downloads. All right. Next post. And that's it. Okay. So this is not a get a whole bunch of sales videos. I have some people asking me, is it working? Is Traffic Maestro working? From my understanding, that question is coming from people who are not fully understanding the full formula around Facebook marketing. If you're building rapport, your marketing is working. If you're generating leads, your marketing is working. If you're getting engagement, your marketing is working. And then the telltale sign is if you're getting sales, your marketing is working. But not every post is designed to just grab sales off the internet. You have to show up and continue to do this each and every day. You have to build relationships. You have to go through that checklist that they give you in the Traffic Maestro, because some of you guys don't even make marketing make sense, right? Y'all ask if marketing works and you say you've been marketing and you've been posting 100 posts a day, flooding your feed with spam or crappy posts or feel good posts each and every day, but you don't add anybody on your Facebook. You don't add new people on your Facebook. It's certain pieces of the formula that's baked into this Traffic Maestro and baked into your Facebook marketing that you need to do. It's not one thing that's making anybody sales on Facebook. I promise you that. If you have great content and no one to watch it, you're going to fail. If you have great content and you have people who are not in your niche and they don't care about what you have to offer, you're going to fail. So tap into the right formula, the full formula, and repeat every day. Now, this video may not make me a direct sale, but it could spark up a conversation that could lead to a sale. It could spark up a conversation that could lead to a great relationship. It could spark up a conversation that maybe me and the person don't even agree with each other, right? And that's okay. I'm not worried about those folks. I'm focusing on people who want to build that relationship, who want to be a part of my Facebook world. and who possibly want these products, right? That's it. It's simple. You just do this stuff over and over again. This is how I've made tons of sales on Facebook, guys. It's not hard, right? Y'all making it hard. And it's becoming even easier. If you don't know how to write, you can tap into the Traffic Maestro. I absolutely love it. And this is just one piece of it, right? So once I get done this video, I'm going to shoot a video for Traffic Maestro, simply because I think our videos are made to be a little bit shorter inside of the Traffic Maestro. This is a 30-minute video without edits. I'm going to get it cut down. But my point is, this stuff is simple, and I can't tell you enough how much it works. I've been preaching to people, and I'm going to stop preaching to people about that. And I'm not going to preach to people all the time about Traffic Maestro, but I've been preaching to people for years to get inside of the training of HBA because I personally believe in it. You don't believe in it because you ain't go through it, right? And so I believe in it because I went through the training and I got results. Now with Traffic Maestro, they're taking that away. It ain't much nobody else can do for you if you can't make it here. Okay. They're not taking the training away. You can go through the training whenever you want, but they're taking the requirement for you to make great content. They're taking that requirement of having to go through trainings, hours of trainings, in order for you to create great content and get the hang of things. You can get the hang of things now with Traffic Maestro. You can start creating content that gets pull, gets reach with this system, not just on Facebook. That's a whole nother rant. A lot of people are so focused on Facebook when there's a world of people out there on YouTube. That Traffic Maestro will allow you to utilize the expertise, the researching, all of that stuff with clicks of a button and get your videos out there in front of people who are looking for your products. You can't move at the rate that you can move on YouTube. You can't move that way on Facebook. I promise you. So I don't know. I'm loving it here. If you're watching this video on YouTube, Facebook, whatever, do what you need to do to get in. So on YouTube, at the description of the video somewhere, you'll have the link to test out system, not test out the system, but get a free tour. And you can put your name and email in there. If we're on Facebook, you can comment on this post or message me, and I can get you either a video or a tour, whatever you want more of. I can get you that information, and that's it. So I'll see you on the top. Peace.